Hi guys, it's Lynn here. I hope you're having an incredible day. Now today guys, I'm very excited because I'm going to be sowing some Peniocereus hirschtianus seeds. What a name. And these amazing seeds have come from a very wonderful, generous subscriber here called Ernesto. And hi Ernesto, thank you so much for these amazing seeds. And Ernesto has been following me on YouTube for a very, very long time. And he contacted me about 4 months ago now, and he said, Lynn, I'd love to send you some seeds here from the wild Peniocereus plants that are growing here in El Salvador. And he said, can I send them to you? And I was like, oh yeah, this will be absolutely amazing. So here we go, they've arrived. And thank you so much, Ernesto, again for the seeds and for your support on my YouTube channel over the years. It's fantastic. I'm very happy to sow these seeds. Now these seeds, Ernesto has harvested himself, obviously, and he's also sowed them himself too. I think he said it was in September 2019, and a lot of them have germinated and they're in the seedling stage, so very exciting. And it's going to be very exciting for me to sow these seeds here in the island. So let's get going, guys. Oh, and before I say anything else, I just want to say I have already made a video on how to grow cacti from seed, and I explain the whole method on how I grow cacti from seed. So if you want to know, if you've not grown cacti from seed before and you want to know how to do it, please do check out that how-to video. Links will be up above and also at the end screen card on this video. I actually use the baggy method when I sow my seeds, which means I grow them in an enclosed environment. But I mention all of that in the how to grow cacti seeds video. So do please watch that, because otherwise it's going to make this video very long. This is just a bit of a video diary of me sowing these seeds, and I'm going to do regular updates on how they do. So let's get going, guys. Let's get sowing and going. Or maybe going and sowing. Now here we are then, guys. Now what I've done is I've completely sterilised the soil that's in this pot, and I explain how I do that in the how to grow cacti from seed video. But I put the soil in a microwavable dish for 3 minutes on high, so it's completely sterilised, or as much as it can be anyway, and I turn the soil over to make sure all of the soil is completely almost cooked, I suppose. And then I let it obviously cool down. This has cooled down now. It's still a little bit warm, but not enough to harm the seeds. In fact, a little bit of warmth can even help with the germination. And the reason why I sterilise the soil is because it does help to minimise the chance of fungus attacks. And it does, personally, when I do sterilise the soil, I do notice a difference than if I don't. Sometimes I get fungus and I have to scrape it off. And the reason why I use the baggies is because then it keeps it in a completely sterile, or as much as a sterile environment as possible. Obviously, between now and putting it in the bag, there's going to be a few minutes, obviously, where bacteria and fungus can still enter. But it does minimalise it. And the reason why I like using the baggies is it helps to really keep down the chance of them annoying fungus gnats that often sort of attack young seedlings once they've germinated. They can't get into bags that are sealed. And it also does help as well with spider mite, because spider mite is very attracted to young seedlings because they're nice and soft, and they tend to scab at the top and they can kill young seedlings, and very, very damaging. So I keep them in the baggies for at least 3 months. Sometimes it can take longer than that for cactus seeds to germinate, even up to a year for some types, like the Opuntia prickly pear species. But once they have germinated, then I'll leave them in the bags for a minimum of 3 months. Usually, I mean, if they're fine, there's lots of space between here and the bag, then I'll only really take them out of the bag if they happen to be coming down with fungus or they need to be watered again. Usually when they're in a closed environment like this, they need the humidity anyway, so the humidity is not going to hurt seedlings. And also the fact that because it is in a bit of a mini greenhouse climate, there's very little water evaporation. The only water being took up is from the seedlings. So you shouldn't have to open the bag to water them in that time. But if you do, just quickly open the bag, water it. But it's best to keep it sealed, obviously, as much as you can. And then once they're big enough to come out, the minimum of 3 months, sometimes 6 months, I won't just suddenly unzip the bag and take them out, because coming from 100% humidity to then, you know, the drying air of your indoor house or your greenhouse or whatever can kill them off and cause them to go brown and scab off and even die. So I would then, as I explained in the how-to video, but I just want to quickly do this in case you don't watch that how-to video and you want to know about growing these from seed, is you just gently then, after the 3 months or whenever they're large enough to come out the baggies, just gently open the one corner like that, and just open it, and then over the next few days, don't just suddenly go and take it out, and then once you've opened it over the few days, just to allow the air to acclimatise the humidity levels between the air in the bag and the air outside, then you can take it out then, usually over a week. But I say, please do watch that video on how to grow cactus from seed if you're new to growing cacti. Now, this is only my methods. I know many growers here that would just put the soil in, put the seeds in, and then that's water them and that's it. They don't use any bag method or anything. But this is the method I've always had 100% success with, and I've tried many different ways of growing seed over the years, and I like this method. So usually when they come out the baggies, yep, you're still going to get the fungus gnats possibly, although since I use a loam-based soil, I don't have that problem with seedlings now. Peat attracts them like a magnet, so I avoid peat. I prefer to use loam. But once they are big enough to come out the baggies, they're usually much more resistant to things like fungus gnats and even spider mites and stuff. They're much more resistant, but it's when they're very young seedlings, it's very dangerous. And as I say, fungus gnats, they seem to love seedlings because they'll eat the roots, and then you find your little seedlings just pop up out there with no roots on, and then it's just impossible to regrow them when they're like that, unless you're an expert at grafting, which I'm not. But personally, in my experience with fungus gnats, they're more of a nuisance really with seedlings. Once they get big enough, they tend to eat more decay matter that's already in the soil, and they're more of a pest than anything. And I treat it with using a neem oil in the soil, but that's another story again. And I've put many videos on how to use neem oil to get rid of fungus gnats when you water it in the soil. So do check that video out. I'll actually put a link up to that video at the end of this video, because it sort of is very useful, because it seems to be a common thing with young seedlings. Now here we go. These are the seeds, Peniocereus, hirschtianus. What a name. Probably not pronouncing that right, but from El Salvador, from Ernesto. On YouTube. So thank you again, Ernesto. Very, very kind and generous of you. And thank you for watching my videos for so long. And Ernesto does actually he does actually watch YouTube. He has a YouTube channel, but he doesn't really have any videos. He only really only has a YouTube channel just to watch other people's videos. So that's why I'm not linking his channel up here, because he doesn't have videos on plants as such. So he said I just want to give him a special thank you, a shout out anyway. So again, thank you, Ernesto. And then, as I mentioned in the how to grow cacti from seed video, you can just gently spread. Now I'm just going to put these on, and I'm going to my hands are completely clean. Always make sure you use very clean hands. And you want to make sure that the seeds are distributed evenly enough, because when they germinate, they can all sort of climb on top of each other. Personally, I never really find it a problem. I actually, in my own experience, this is only mine again, I find that the more cramped I actually sow seeds and seedlings, the better they actually do. It might sound balmy, but obviously you do want to make sure you distribute them about as much as you can. And I've actually got a packet of these seeds left over, which I'm going to sow again at another time. And that's because if anything happened to these seedlings, you know, the worst case, and they did get fungus attack or anything like that, I've got another batch now. Put that in there. And I want to obviously make sure, now I've got this clean little spoon here as well, which I'm going to just spread these little seeds about. Never a problem, I find, when I do put a lot of seeds in the pot, but you just want to make sure that there is a good bit of space between them all. But I find my experience, they grow better in using more of a smaller pot. I'm just going to very gently press these down now, very gently. Some people will cover them with a top layer of sand or another layer of a bit of soil on the top. I like to let the light to them. I like to make sure that they're pressed down so that they're in contact with with obviously the surface of the soil here. They're large seeds, which is lovely. I just make sure there's none hiding about. So, oops, one tried to get away there. And as I say, just make sure that they're a bit more distributed about, so that when they do germinate, they're all going to be pretty much everywhere there. Very lovely big seeds. And Ernesto, as I say, has these growing himself, so he's had good success with them. And then what I'm going to do now is just give a bit more of a spray on the top. And this again is clean water. Important to use clean water because then it's going to introduce. I actually did boil the water first and let it cool down again. And also, as I mentioned in the how to grow cacti from seeds video, is that you want to make sure that it's a good idea. It's a very good idea to make sure that once the soil has actually been sterilised in the microwave, we can use the other method as I explained in that video. Once it's cooled down, then I actually then give the pot a water, thoroughly water the soil first before putting the seeds on. Because if I put the seeds on and then I watered it, you want to make sure that it's thoroughly damp wet. Then obviously the seeds can just sometimes go all over the top. It's just easier because then the seeds have gone onto a sturdy type of soil, and then I give it another bit of a spray on the top there just to make sure they're all thoroughly soaked. And again, just gently press down so they're all in contact there. It's going to be a very good germination rate, hopefully. And I'll do an update video when these germinate. Now, obviously, it's February now. If you don't have grow lights and a heated environment, which I do have, then it's probably best to wait till the springtime, probably mid-March onwards, before you sow cactus seeds, because the longer day length is much better. But I explain all that in the video. I'm sowing these now in February for one reason, because I have grow lights, and these are going to be going in my grow room under the grow lights, and it's very warm in there, so it's going to be much easier to get these to germinate. And I will do an update video once they germinate as well, guys. So there we go, and that's just get the air out of there. And as I say, I explain the whole reasons why I use the baggy method. I'm very happy with that. And obviously I've dated it. What I do is I always obviously write down the name of what it is. Peniocereus hirschtianus from Ernesto in El Salvador, and sown February 2020. So I know when I sowed them. It could take, cactus seeds can take anything from a few days to a few months, even up to a year to germinate. I've sown Peniocereus before, and very good success rate with it, and I've still got the little seedlings now. They're very, very cute. And that's hopefully be the same with these. So thank you again, Ernesto, and hope you enjoyed the video, guys. And as I say, do check out the video on how to grow cactus from seed if you haven't done already. I've also done a blog on it on my website as well, desertplantsofavlon.com. And if you haven't done already, please do subscribe, and don't forget to click the notification bell. So guys, thank you so much for watching. And I want to send you loads of love, heaps of happiness, and tons of cactus power from across the Emerald Isle. And until my next video, bye. Bye.